Really, so draft 1 is basically your first try at actually getting a script down, the actual words of the script, the dialogue. Dialogue. See if I spelt that right. Can't spell. The dialogue between characters. And also the stage direction. Where's your character standing? In what room? And what are they doing? It's actually quite hard work. But also, it is difficult to keep to your time limit and your page limit. But your first draft should be really enjoyable. You have got the ideas, you've got the outline. You just need to write it. And the aim is to try and create a flow. A lot of artists talk about flow. And it's like that feeling you get when your brain is in full creative mode and you're just pumping out your work. And it's a beautiful feeling and experience when you're doing it. You're just getting all your ideas out onto paper. And that's your first draft. And that's the aim. 15 pages really. So sometimes you might only hit 7 pages. And then run out of steam, or you might, overwrite and you do maybe 26 pages. That's fine because it's your first draft. And altogether, there will be 3 drafts. Your first draft is just like a mind dump. You get it all out and send it off to your script editor, and then you will get feedback from your script editor. Draft 2, once you get the notes from draft 1, the notes will highlight all the weaknesses, areas that the script editor didn't like, ideas that they didn't like that needs changing. Now, you can't feel offended by that. You can't feel like, well, I tried my best. It's not the point. Writing is rewriting. That's the point. All writers, it's the same deal. They send their scripts off and the editor sends the scripts back with notes. It can be quite tough. You receive some notes for something you feel passionate about, but you need to accept them and think about those notes and then sit down and do your draft 2 and make all the changes suggested. It can be quite difficult sometimes. There can be problems. There might be some shot in there that the script editor didn't like and says try something different. And you need to rely on your creative brain. And don't worry about that because you're a creative person. You're going to think of new things. Don't worry about it. Don't think, oh God, that's my best idea. Your brain will come up with more ideas, so don't worry about that. Now, draft 2 is a tightening of your ideas. It's like, tightening a nut on a machine. You are tightening your ideas and you're adding things that are going to give more drama. You need to show that internal conflict, that internal journey. So in our example, Tom, he's found a horse, he's got a gun now, he's practiced shooting and he's ready to go and take on the bad guys. But what he doesn't realise is maybe his son is following him. So then he sees his son and he talks to him, and his son said, well, he killed my mother as well. I want revenge myself. I want to blow his brains out, for example. So now Tom's thinking, I'm a father. Do I feel like, yeah, that's right, let's go and blow his brains out? Or is he thinking, I don't want my son to be doing that? Again, that's an internal conflict. What does he tell his son? Versus the external content of just going to kill the bad guy. The internal conflict is much more interesting. What's his emotional state? What's his emotional journey? Understanding, do I love my son more than I need this revenge? And that's his internal dilemma, but maybe it's too late. Anyway, so that's draft 2, a tightening up. By the time you get to draft 3 really is a polish. Most of your main problems with your script will have been fixed and tightened up in draft 2. Draft 1 is the mind dump. Draft 2 is where a lot of the technical changes are happening. And you should feel like your film's almost done. And then more notes will come back from draft 2. and the notes shouldn't be really to do with structure. That should be sorted out. The character should be sorted out, and really, draft 3 is a polish. It's about dialogue. Feeling like some bits of dialogue just need to be fixed a little bit, or we need to heighten the drama in this one particular area. Maybe they get the son, the baddies get the son. They're sat there with him saying, right, get your revenge now. So Tom is really stuck. So it's a real polish of the drama, trying to make it more exciting, more engaging, and trying to make sure it's sensible and not too crazy. One more thing, your script, because the budget is small, you need to think in the back of your head when you're writing your stories and script that actually it needs to be set in modern day. It needs to be a location that's easily filmable, probably inside, and 1 or 2 rooms, and that's it. You can't really create a cowboy movie. You haven't got the costumes, you haven't got the location, you certainly haven't got the horses or the guns or the stuntmen to make a film. That's a huge Hollywood film. But with this, you can make a modern drama based in your local environment on a small budget. So draft 3, like I say, is a polish. At the end of draft 3, you're done and dusted. That should be it. Your film's ready. Hopefully, your script is good enough that someone reads it and they go, I want to make that film. Most often, it's not. But the point is, you've created your first script. And that's really important. And it doesn't matter, actually, if that film's made. What's really important is that you've gone through this experience, you've learnt the structure, you've learnt about characters, you've learnt about character arcs, how to, change, how a character changes, you've learnt about conflict, how to resolve the film. That is a massive piece of learning. And when you finish that, you should be really proud that you've done that, you've delivered. And then start something new. Something that you can make. Years ago when I started, me and my friend, my deaf friend, we just made our own films. We had our own camera, and we got some friends in, and some lights, and we created the script, and we shot it ourselves and edited it ourselves, and it was amazingly enjoyable. And then we sent it off to film festivals, and we actually won some awards, and it felt like, for the first time, when you're stood up on stage and everyone's applauding and you're getting an award, it's incredible. You should do that yourself. You can create your own little films, get some friends together, find a cheap camera. You can even use your mobile phone nowadays to make really good films. And if the story's good, and if the characters are good, you will make a fantastic short film. Like, for example, the Blair Witch Project, the shaky camera work. That was a very scary film. It had good characters, a good story, and it was quite frightening and creepy. You can make very cheap but very good films. So once you got to draft 3 and you've handed in your project, you should feel really proud of yourself because it was a great achievement. Okay, so that was a very quick and dirty basic information on how to create a script. You can get more information from the Transition Stage Project. You can contact me if you like, James Banks. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Goodbye.